Hello and welcome to another episode of The Social Connection. I am your host, Luis Mendieta, and today we have Gary Greenfelder, who has a quintet, and he's going to talk to us about his band. Gary, how you doing? How are you?
I'm doing great, Louis. Thanks for having me on the show today. We appreciate it. We're excited that we get to show the community what we do with my brass quintet. The brass quintet is called Dynamic Resonance Brass Quintet, and it's been around for about 2 or 3 years. So it's one of my newer groups that I have. And we did that just to really instill higher musical aptitude in ourselves, because it's very challenging music to play, and it's fun music to play, and we can play many different varieties from holiday music to Easter music to wedding music to marches to jazz. We do a little bit of everything with this group, so we have a great fun doing it, and we just have a lot of fun doing it.
I'm sure, and I can really wait to start hearing what you play. But tell me, where did the Gary start with music?
I started with music at a very young age. I started in the 4th grade, which is more common back in my day. I think they started a little later now, but I fell in love with it right away. And so I was one of those kids that loved to practice, and which is the hardest thing. I have adult friends that say, just don't make me practice, I love to practice. That's where you get better. And I've been doing it that way my whole life. In high school, I went to high school where it was public school, but we had a really good 250-piece marching band that was 30 trumpet players in it, so it was fun doing that. Then we had a jazz band, and we went on a tour every year. So I went to the Michigan American pageant one year, and when it was still in Atlantic City. And also we did a tour of Michigan with the jazz band, and we also did a tour down south with the jazz band one year. So it was a lot of fun doing that stuff, and that encouraged me, or intrigued me, I should say, to want to do more. And when I graduated from high school, I was going to be an electrical engineer, and during that summer I changed and decided, no, I'm going to be a performance major. So I went to college for 2.5 years, a year and a half at Wayne State University, a year and a half at Oakland University, and had the opportunity to go on the road with a show group, and did that for a year and a half, and then ended up eventually moving to California for 4 years. So I've had a lot of musical adventures in my lifetime, and I wouldn't trade any of them for the world. But I decided at some point in time out in LA that it was just too much of a financial struggle for me. So what I did is I just decided to do something else, and I decided to do accounting. And there's a whole different story on that thing, but let's say I decided to do accounting. I started going to school out in Los Angeles area, and eventually moving home, graduated from Walsh. But I never stopped really playing music. And during my later years of before graduation, I was working full-time, plus going to school almost full-time. So I didn't have a lot of time to really practice the way I wanted to, but as soon as I graduated, I started getting back into it. And about 1991, I got involved with the big band that I have. Now it was called One Beat Back in the day. Now it's called the Gary Greenfelder Orchestra. And I've been a part of it since late 1991, early 1992 sometime. I've been leading it myself for the last about 7 to 10 years. I used to be the lead trumpet player in the back of the band. Now I'm up front, and I conduct and play trumpet solos. And I wasn't sure I'd really like that, because I love playing lead trumpet, the steroid lead guitar, lead trumpet player thing. But actually, I really enjoy it a lot. It gives me great pleasure to be in front of the band and really make them play musically better and enhance ourselves.
Who are the people who inspire you? Any stars or anything that you said, oh, I love this way he plays this?
Yeah, we always have those. And some people say, who's your favorite? And I don't have one favorite, but I can tell you that, in high school and early years of college, Maynard Ferguson, the high note trumpet player, was definitely, my favorite. Then Arturo Sandoval, actually before that was Freddie Hubbard, jazz trumpet player that I really liked. He just was a really hip jazz trumpet player. And then Arturo Sandoval, and of course there's many like Harry James, Bunny Berrigan, Louis Armstrong, Miles Davis. I mean, there's so many great trumpet players. I'm just naming a few. Clifford Brown is one of my favorites. He died at a young age. So I try and blend all that together to make who I am as a trumpet player. Yeah.
Well, that sounds good. Now tell us about the places that you have played. What what makes you feel when you're playing with the public, with the people, you know?
It's interesting because I think everyone has stage fright on a certain level, and I certainly can have that. And luckily, through the years, it's gotten much better, but it still comes back and haunts me more than I want it to sometimes. But more often than not, I don't have a lot of stage fright anymore, which is great. I have played, like when we were on the road, when I was post-college, when I went on the road, that was a tour group. We did all the hotel circuit, 6 nights a week we were playing, and that doesn't even exist in today's world. But we had a lot of fun doing that. I learned a ton of stuff then. Then I was 20 years old when I did that. The next youngest guy in the band was 27, so I was a youngster thrown into a big fish pool, and I survived it and had lots of fun. Moving to LA, I did some things like I played the Crystal Cathedral, and I got into like a church circuit where I played some stuff at Easter and Christmas at different places. Some of them were televised similar to this and cable TV and stuff. I played in several big bands out there, and I did some small stuff working, but never as much as I would have liked to. And I just was told, keep on hanging out, stay a little longer. You know, there's a long line, and I got tired of waiting in that line. So after that, the big band that I have now, we've played many fundraisers and corporate events. We've done the Red Cross fundraiser at the Ritz-Carlton. We've done the I forget the exact name, the races on Belial.
Oh, yes.
We did their thing on the island. That was kind of fun because we did it right on the island when the races were going on test runs. So we had to wait for them to do test runs so we could drive the opposite side of the island, and we actually drove on the track and entertained the drivers and the media and stuff. It was a lot of fun. I've done, what other events have we done? We've done a lot of corporate events. We did the 75th anniversary party for Myers Corporation a few years back. And the public representatives, we've done several different events like that. Governor Engler, which is a ways back, we did one of his big things. We've done other smaller events like that because they have, you know, promotional stuff for themselves all the time. And but the majority of the work we really do has been private events where there's a lot more money in private events than playing out in like the bar scene, which we started a few years back. When actually in 2008, when the market crash happened, the gigs went away as well. Corporations stopped paying big money for bands and so forth. So we decided to take a different approach. One of my friends in the band saw a place that was open. It used to be the Heidelberg Restaurant in Mount Clemens. It was called Jaeger's Castle Rock, and we played there about 2.5, 3 years. And we had a really nice time playing. There was a lot of fun. We played there twice a month. Now, for the last 4 years, we've been playing a place in Sterling Heights called Club 54. And we do that just to keep the band motivated and learning new music and doing that kind of stuff.
In talking about that, I noticed that you guys also have singers, a lot of singers where they sing beautifully. And I know that you're working on projects and all that with your music when you're playing in a big band.
Yes, I'm working on several projects right now that include local vocalists around town. And I don't want to talk about them too much because I want to have those ideas kept to myself. But the ideas are, I think they're great. They're great ideas, and they involve primarily each show development that I'm looking at is going to have different people fronting the band. So it'll be different vocalists and talent around town. And I'm going to tell you, there's just some really, really great talent. Detroit, in the Detroit and the surrounding area, for sure.
Sure, I'm really excited. I also know that you also play in different places. You're also coming up. They're going to be a band, Battle of the Bands?
Yes, we're doing a Battle of the Bands with the Rhythm Society Orchestra, and that's on March 5th at the Masonic Temple in Detroit, and it's $25, which is a great price. If somebody is interested, I don't have the information in front of me, so just feel free to call my number, 586-530-8422, and I'll connect you with the person that's selling tickets.
But I'll tell you, what I like about that is because it's going to be several bands, right? I mean, different bands. So they're going to be playing, and it's going to be like a little battle. Is that correct?
It will be a battle. It's actually just two bands. It's the Rhythm Society Orchestra and us. So we'll be on opposite side of the halls. It's a huge dance floor, if you're familiar with the Masonic Temple. And we actually start off, we do half-an-hour sets, then 20-minute sets, then 10 minutes, then 2 songs, 1 song. We go back and forth, and there actually is a winner. It's a real battle, and it's by applause. So, folks, I'm asking you to come out. help support the Gary Greenfelder Orchestra on March 5th at the Masonic Temple downtown Detroit. Once again, 586-530-8422.
Well, that sounds good. Now, what can you tell me about the members of your band? I mean, what kind of...
Yeah, that's it's pretty amazing because I of course with the 19-piece big band, and you're talking 20 years of being in business. There's a constant movement of the band. However, I've got some people. My baritone sax player has been there since 1991. Wow. He was in there before I joined. I think at this point I'm the second oldest member. We've transitioned and transformed to the years. One to get better. One was just getting better musicians. And getting the right fit. To me, it's really important that not only musically they fit, but also as a personality. It's important that we all get along. And it's interesting because I have subs come in and they'll say, God, I've never seen a band that gets along so well. Well, that's because it's part of the protocol. It was a part of the plan.
Something that I noticed too, that you also have females in this band.
Yes, we try to diversify as much as we can, and it's hard sometimes. But when I have the opportunity to hire a good musician, I always look for diversity first. A good musician first, then musicianship, then diversity, and then the right person fit personality-wise. So it's not just one thing; it's many things. And through that, I've got a great band now. I've got some transition going on now. It's common, and we're working on making that work for the guys that are leaving the band, and so they can come back and sub with us and play, and just stay part of what we are. I try and one thing different about that I do different from most other bands is very simply I try and get musicians that are interested in playing that are good. Yeah. But not the same guys. There's a lot of guys that play in all the bands throughout town, and they're good players, and I love them. But those aren't the guys I'm looking. I call them the sub all the time, but I don't look so much for those guys to be in my band. I like to find unique guys, young guys, old guys, yes, females, you name it, and that's the people I find. And I've got some really great bunch of musicians and people in my band.
Well, now tell me, what types of bands do you have? So people can get an idea what types of bands you have.
Well, I have the brass quintet, Dynamic Resonance Brass Quintet, that played today. I have GQ Jazz Ensemble, which is a jazz quintet that go up to 6, 7 pieces, depending. We can go down to 3 pieces. So all my groups are variable, except for the brass quintet, because you have to have all 5 parts. Then I have, of course, the 19-piece big band, 16-piece orchestra, 2 vocalists, and myself. But we can cut that down to about 13 pieces, 1 vocalist with a 12-piece orchestra and myself, and go up to 19. So we have that flexibility. And we also have, with my big band, I have 4 books of music. We are with about 230 to 250 charts in each book, and we're always putting in, like I just pulled out, I have book 3 we're playing from right now, and I just put 30 new charts in book 3 and pulled 30 out because they're stuffed full. So if I put one in, I got to take one out.
Well, that sounds very, very good. Now, what are we going to be listening to? Is the quintet who's going to be playing? Yeah. And what kind of music or songs or what are you going to be hearing?
Actually, in the brass quintet, we have Kevin Creston. He's my lead trumpet player in my big band. We have Dave Harwood. He's a French horn player, a good friend of Kevin's. We have Eric Totes, our tuba player, and Roger DeMeyer playing trombone, who also plays trombone in my big band. And then myself. And that's the brass quintet. Today we played a variety of music. So we played some wedding music, we played some ceremonial music, we played Easter music, we played some marches, we played some jazz, and we played some classical music. So we tried to give a nice diversification of music to show what the group does. But we play weddings, ceremonial weddings. We play historical events sometimes, and we play concerts at venues. We've played at the War Memorial and different churches around town that have concert series, and they're looking for something a little different. A lot of them do jazz and stuff. We play that as well. But when I let them know I have a brass quintet, they're like, "Wow, that's really cool. Nobody's doing that."
Well, we can really wait to hear you. So for all of you at home, we are ready, and here is the quintet that we're going to be hearing from Gary Greenfelder, who's going to be playing right after this. Thank you for enjoying us here in this wonderful concert that Gary has provided for us here. And Gary, how do we get in touch with you?
Thanks for asking that. I have a website. It's GG Music ENT. So the name of my organization is GG Music Entertainment. So once again, it's ggmusicent.com. The best way to email me is through my Gmail address because it gets to me the quickest, and that's ggmusicent@gmail.com. And also, my phone number is 586-530-8422.
And thank you, Gary, for being here with us. We do appreciate you. And for all of you at home, I want to thank you. Until next time, for the next episode of The Social Connection. Once again, I'm your host, Luis Mendieta. Until next time.